Imagine for a moment that it is late at night and you are lying in bed staring at the ceiling. You are replaying every what-if scenario your brain can find in the darkness. What if the car breaks down tomorrow, or the rent goes up next month? What if something happens and you simply cannot work for a few weeks? You close your eyes, but the numbers in your head just keep running. You are not thinking about getting rich or buying a private jet. You are just trying to stop feeling like you are exactly one bad day away from being broke. For decades, you have worked hard and played by the rules. You traded your time for a paycheck and your energy for stability. Yet it often feels like you are pushing a massive boulder up a steep hill. The moment you stop pushing it, feels like the weight will crush you. But what if I told you that there are 3 specific moments where the laws of gravity begin to change? There are 3 tipping points where the boulder stops being a burden and starts to roll on its own. Most people spend their entire lives pushing the rock without ever reaching the peak. They give up just as the slope begins to level out. In this discussion, we are going to look at the 3 critical milestones where your money officially starts working harder than you do. We are going to move past the surface-level advice and look at the deep psychological and mathematical shifts that happen at each stage. This is not about luck or hitting a jackpot. This is about understanding the silent engine of wealth that most people never hear running. Let us begin with the first and most difficult milestone, which is reaching $100,000. The legendary investor Charlie Munger once said that the first $100,000 is a nightmare. He was right, because at this stage, your money is practically invisible. When you have $10,000 invested and the market grows by 7%, you only see $700 in gains. After taxes and inflation, that amount barely buys a week of groceries. It feels like you are doing all the work, while your portfolio is just sitting there doing nothing. At this stage, your contributions are doing 90% of the heavy lifting. If you save $500 a month, your own savings are far more powerful than the interest you earn. This is the excavation phase of building your financial house. You are digging a deep hole in the dirt, and it looks like you are going nowhere. People around you are buying new cars and taking vacations while you are staring at a pile of dirt. It is easy to look at your neighbors and feel like you are falling behind. You see them with their shiny new toys while you are eating at home and watching your index funds crawl upward. This is the comparison trap that kills more dreams than actual poverty ever will. The first $100,000 requires a level of discipline that feels unnatural. You are working against your own human instinct to seek immediate comfort. But something magical happens when you cross that 6-figure line. Suddenly, a 7% return means $7,000 a year. That is nearly $600 every single month. For the first time, your money is contributing as much to the pile as you are. This is the first tipping point where the engine starts to run on something other than your own sweat. You are no longer the only one pushing the boulder. Your money has finally picked up a shovel and started to help you dig. Once you pass $100,000, the game begins to speed up because of the momentum. It is like the difference between starting a cold engine and cruising on the highway. But the second tipping point is where your life truly begins to change. This happens when you reach $500,000 in liquid assets. I want you to be very careful here, because many people think they are at this stage because of their home equity. In America, we have been taught that a house is our biggest asset. But you cannot buy bread with the drywall in your guest room. You cannot pay a medical bill with the shingles on your roof. True financial power comes from assets that you can access and move. Wealth in the form of a house is often just a liability disguised as an investment. You still have to pay property taxes, and you still have to pay for the leaking pipe. When you have $500,000 in a well-diversified portfolio, your relationship with work shifts forever. At an average return of 8 to 10%, Your money is now earning between $40,000 and $50,000 a year. Think about that for a second. Your portfolio has effectively cloned your income. There is now a second version of you out there working 24 hours a day. This silent version of you does not take sick days or coffee breaks. It does not complain about the boss or get stuck in morning traffic. It just sits in the corner and quietly stacks dollar bills for your future. This is the moment when you move from playing defense to playing offense. When you have $500,000 in the bank, you no longer have to tolerate a toxic workplace. You do not have to stay quiet when you are being treated unfairly. You have bought yourself the most valuable commodity on earth, which is the power to say no. This is what we call breathing room. You are not retired yet, but you are finally able to exhale. The fear that used to live in the back of your throat begins to dissolve. However, this is also the most dangerous stage for many people. When you see that $500,000 balance, the temptation to spend becomes overwhelming. The lifestyle creep starts to whisper in your ear. It tells you that you deserve a better car or a larger kitchen. But if you take the logs off the fire now, the flames will die down before they reach the final stage. Every dollar you spend on a luxury today is $10 you are stealing from your future self. If you can stay disciplined and let that fire burn, you will reach the third and final tipping point. This is the milestone of $1 million. In the financial world, we often call this the point of self-sufficiency. This is where the math becomes almost hard to believe. If you have $1 million and the market has a good year with a 15% return, you have just made $150,000. That is more than most doctors and lawyers earn in a year of high-stress work. And you did it while sitting on your porch or playing with your grandchildren. This is the stage of the snowball effect. When a snowball is the size of a marble, it takes a lot of effort to make it grow. But when it is the size of a house, every single rotation adds massive amounts of weight. At $1 million, your wealth begins to grow at an unstoppable rate. Even if you stop contributing entirely, the momentum of compounding will carry you forward. This is where the 4% rule becomes your best friend. You can safely withdraw $40,000 a year, adjusted for inflation, and your pile of money will likely never get smaller. In many cases, the pile actually continues to grow even while you are spending it. Because while you are withdrawing 4%, the market is often returning 7 or 8%. You have entered the elite territory where your net worth keeps rising during your retirement. You are no longer surviving the economy, you are the master of it. The peace of mind that comes with this stage is something that cannot be measured in numbers. It is the feeling of knowing that no matter what happens in the world, you and your family are safe. The inflation that used to terrify you is now just a minor detail because your assets grow with it. The political news that used to make your heart race is now just background noise. You have built a fortress that is designed to last for generations. But I want to be honest with you about the journey to get there. The transition between these 3 points is not a straight line. There will be years where the market drops, and it feels like you are sliding backward. You might see your $500,000 drop to $400,000 in a single month. This is the moment where most people fail because they let their emotions drive the car. They panic and sell at the bottom because they cannot stand the pain of losing. But wealth is not built in the good times. Wealth is built by staying calm during the bad times. Remember the analogy of the campfire. In the beginning, you are blowing on tiny sparks and feeding it small twigs. It is frustrating and smoky, and your eyes burn. But once those large logs catch fire, the heat becomes effortless. The key to reaching the third tipping point is simply staying in the game long enough for the math to work. Time is the most powerful ingredient in the recipe of wealth. For those of you who are in your 50s or 60s, it is easy to feel like it is too late. But consider the rule of 72. This simple rule tells you how long it takes for your money to double. If you earn a 10% return, your money doubles every 7 years. That means if you have $500,000 today, it could become $1 million by the time you are 7 years older, even if you never add another cent. And if you wait another 7 years, that million could become $2 million. The boulder is already rolling, and the slope is getting steeper in your favor. Your job is not to find a miracle or a shortcut. The world is full of people trying to sell you a secret formula or a fast track to riches. They are just trying to take your money for their own tipping point. Your job is to stay consistent and protect the momentum you have already built. Stop chasing the flashy trends and the high-risk gambles that promise a quick win. Those are the things that knock the boulder off the track and send you back to the bottom of the hill. Instead, focus on the boring and predictable path of diversified investing. Focus on lowering your expenses so that your money can stay in the market longer. The first million is a wall between you and fear. The second million is a bridge to true freedom. And everything after that is a legacy for the people you love. As you move forward, I want you to look at your bank account differently. Do not just see a number on a screen. See a team of employees who are working for you. Every dollar is a soldier that is out there capturing more dollars for your cause. Ask yourself if you are treating those employees well, or if you are firing them to buy things you do not need. The path to the tipping point is paved with discipline and patience. It is about realizing that your future is more important than your present convenience. The reward is a life where you never have to stare at the ceiling at night again. A life where you can wake up and decide exactly how you want to spend your day. Not because you have to clock in, but because you want to. That is the true definition of wealth. It is not about the things you own, but the options you have. The journey might be slow at first, and the first 100,000 might take 10 years. But the next 900,000 will come much faster than you think. The game speeds up the closer you get to the end. Keep pushing, keep saving, and keep trusting the process. Your tipping point is coming closer every single day. You have already done the hardest part, which is starting. Now you just have to stay on the path until the gravity changes. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope these insights give you the clarity and the confidence to stay the course. Your future self will thank you for the decisions you make today. Keep your eyes on the peak and your feet on the path. The view from the top is worth every single step.